Hello everybody. Well, this is an addendum video for the video I just posted. There's a story, an anecdote I want to tell you about. It has a lot of wisdom in it. But why am I bringing this up now? It just occurred to me. Is because it's very relevant to what's going on today in the politics and election of the United States. In the 80s, I used to fly airplanes in California and so on. But I am very well versed in military hardware and history, and this here is a well-known thing among fighter jet pilots. In the olden days, such as Korea, Vietnam, Germany, World War II, and so on and so forth, those pilots sometimes they engage each other in battles, air battles, right? Back then, there were no missiles, right? And even in Vietnam, there were missiles, right? Air-to-air missiles. However, air-to-air missiles, they weren't very accurate. So often the case, the fight was gunfight. And gunfight means machine guns within the airplane, and they would maneuver and fire it at each other, right? They try to pull behind the six and right, and the bullets are really big bullets, right? And when those jet fighter pilots, right, when they were engaged, they were very close range, right? And there's no place to hide behind, right? Such as a corner of a building or a ditch or anything else. You're just wide open. You have to maneuver your way into a position to shoot down the other airplane, right? The enemy airplane. Why am I saying this? Well, here's the wisdom. And that's for you, staffers, Biden staffers, or supporters or voters. When you go into an air battle like that, your chances of survival is zero, almost zero. When you left the battle, if you stayed alive, right, when the battle was over, right, and you stayed alive, your chances of survival went to probably 90%, provided while you're going back home, you don't crash, right? Or shut down by some kind of ground-to-air missiles, right? Now, you can ask your fighter pilots on this, right? Jet fighter pilots on this. Those who've been in Vietnam, or they know, like those modern day fighter pilots, they know. They have the advantage, right? Technology and accurate air-to-air missiles, blah, 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 blah. So they have the advantage, right? Over what used to be back then. In World War II and World War I, it used to be all guts, right? So the motto is this, and this is a well-known practice. When those pilots were like turning and rolling and maneuvering and pulling high Gs and so on and so forth, if you turned your back right there and then, you get scared, right? Because you're exposed, you can't hide, you're exposed, right? Somebody may pull behind you, and guess what? It's all over. 1919, and the death is very painful, right? Because you're gonna fall from the sky burning. If you're able to pull a parachute, right? Pull your parachute, you may survive. Often the case you didn't, right? And then it was a horrible death, right? So those who got scared and decided to leave the battle, right? Or even eject, right? Or whatever it is, they immediately became a target. Why? Because they turned back on an airplane, and some pilot, an enemy pilot, will see that you're pulling away, you're turning your back to him, and then he will pull right behind you. And guess what? They used to say the phrase or expression used to be, he's gonna gun your brains out, right? So you knew if you decided to run away, you're dead. That's it. It's guaranteed, right? Because you turned your back. Your only focus in the battle, right? If you stayed and fought and maneuvered to fight, right? Your chances of survival may turn into 50%, right? Otherwise, your chances of survival are zero. So once you're in and you try to run, it's over, right? Regardless, even if your team began to lose, right? Your fighting may turn the tide around, right? May turn the battle tide around, right? Why? Because if more airplanes were shut down on your side, and then you managed to shoot more airplanes on the other side, you even the ground out, right? So when you turn around and leave, that's it, you're gone. And then not just that, you're gone, and then you caused your team or your wingman or wingmen or whoever it is to die because now you shortchanged them, right? You ran out, right? So your only focus right there and then is the main focus is to maneuver and shoot down the enemy aircraft, not to watch out for yourself. Watching out for yourself, if somebody comes behind you and maneuver out of sight, line of sight of the bullet, that's 10%, right? But your main focus is to shoot down the enemy aircraft, right? Because that's when you minimize the enemy's capacity to shoot you down, right? And kill you, right? So that's very similar. You folks, you Biden supporters, if you get demoralized now, and those pilots in World War II, those who get demoralized, they usually are paralyzed, right? They freeze. They no longer maneuver, right? Guess what? Same results, same fate, right? If you get demoralized and then the freeze over because the killing is happening right before your eyes, you're not going to be able to maneuver anymore. Your consciousness, your attention, your focus is lost. And somebody is going to see that right there and then, those brave pilots, right? And they will come and bam, 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 and you're out. You can't lose nerves now, folks. They're trying to unnerve you. They're those devils that are in the media and politicians here and there that are turning on you now, turning on your candidate Biden now. That's what they're hoping to achieve. It's precisely that. You, supporter of Biden, cannot run away or get demoralized now. You will lose. That's all there is to it. You will lose. That's there to it. Your future is on the line now, right? You may say this is like way overdoing it, right? You're exaggerating. No, folks. What's coming is really problematic. Number one, that's number one. Number two, to overreact is better than underreact, or just stay at the same level as your those devils, Putin devils, right? Look, folks, it's very obvious. The man or whoever it is, that COVID creature, right? It's very obvious what he plans to do. He is telling you, right? You know, the other day I heard that Zelensky talked to him and they didn't, he liked it and so on. I bet money, whole $1, over the fact that he told Zelensky he must cede land and blah, 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 blah. Yet he was lying. Why was he lying? Because he works for Putin and Putin wants to take out Europe. Where do you get your wisdom and your encouragement and your motivation, right? From Ukraine. Ukrainian hero on the ground. Ukraine is a very small country next to Russia. You know, like this Russian Federation, which is not theirs really, right? And eventually it will break up, right? All the way to the Pacific, right? And it's like big elephant fighting a small, like some kind of a cat, right? You know, and they were very confident, false confidence, right? They were going to take Ukraine out in 5 days, right? It's been 2.5 years. Get your wisdom and your courage and your motivation from the Ukrainian hero fighting Putin on the battlefield. And if a Ukrainian soldier can fight off Putin and defeat him and even evict him from Kharkiv, right? You can do that here too, right? You Americans can fight Putin here as well. You're more capable. You have more resources and more abilities and tools at your disposal to fight against Putin than Ukrainians do. It's been 2.5 years. I assure you, Putin will not take over Ukraine and Europe. But if Putin goes back into the White House or Trump, it'll be bloody for the entire West, right? For Europe in particular, for Northwestern Europe, Germanics and Scans, Anglo-Saxons in particular. Oh, that Putin is coming to do away with them. So you whites who think Trump is your man, look again. If he is so white, he's so hinting at Nazism and so on and so forth, why is he supporting someone who is going to bring tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of East Chinese to put them into Northwestern Europe? You don't think this is true? They say that. Just like Trump is saying what he's going to do now in the United States, they are back there saying about turning Europe into Eurasia, right? And not just that, they're not bringing them to fight their way through Europe, right? You know, Chinese are sitting back and waiting in the wings, right? Those East Chinese, Shanghai and wang dang wang bang bang, whatever it is, right? You know, because they don't want to get lost. Now, whites of Russia are killing whites of Europe, and whites of Europe are killing whites of Russia. Guess for what and for whom, right? Those other guys are waiting in the wings. They don't like it there anymore. They want like white ladies, and they want to shout at you, and they want to like own your land and then evict you, and you think this is I'm just saying things. This is real, folks. They stated it back there. Have a nice day. Get up and fight. Get up and fight. Your man is Biden. Right now, if you ever entertain the notion of changing him, you are giving that Putin chance to go back to the White House. Nothing else. If Biden leaves now, the Democrats are lost. That's it. Those his supporters. Have a nice day and fear no evil. Stand up in the morning. Whenever you wake up in the morning, stand up before the mirror and repeat after me firmly. I will not be more demoralized. I will not be unnerved, and Biden is doing fine, and we will win. Say that every day in the morning when you look in the mirror. Be motivated by those Ukrainian heroes. Look what they've done. They pulled them no less than a miracle. If there is a divine intervention, it's on their behalf. Believe me, not on this guy Trump. I said in the past that God or Allah is going to do something on his hands. These guys misunderstood me. He's going to destroy a certain group of people on his hands, his own, right? There was, if you read this in, I read this in Carl Jung. He quoted an oracle, an army general or king came to an oracle. He wanted to invade another country and face off with another army, right? He comes to her and asks her, seek wisdom from the oracle. She says, an army is going to be destroyed. The guy got, because it was the oracle, that's his oracle, in his country and his people, right? So he starts like shaking his hands. He was ecstatic, he was in raptures that he's going to make history. So he went to battle and his army got destroyed. Sure enough, an army got destroyed, but it was his. He didn't bother to ask which army, right? That's what Trump is doing. He's destroying his base, that's all. And when time comes, I'll give you some examples and things like that. Even here in the United States, people just forget. I don't. Get up and fight, folks. Get up and fight. This fight is your own survival, your personal survival, your bank survival, your bank account, your money, your whatever it is. And don't be afraid of those investors, those Reading and Frensington and Fleeson Institute of Economics in New York. They're waiting for trillions, folks. Obama, brother of Trump, gave him trillions. And he's gonna, like I said, he's just gonna send you to die in mass out there, kill people, genocide people, and die in mass. Have a nice day. Get up and fight.